Tammy Scarlett with us today, and I am going to just let her take the stage and introduce herself and what she's all about. And Tammy?
Okay, thank you very much for having me here, Jenny. Excited to be here and I think I'm I was going to say victim. I'm your first interview, so this is awesome. I'm very privileged. So my name is Tammy Scarlett, and I've just begun my own Facebook group. It's called the Women's Wellness Network. So it's a little network where women can come together and discover new healing methods, new people to follow, it's like a container where everybody brings their own flavors and we make our own little special recipe of love, I guess, right? We bring our own modalities to share with people. We bring our stories of empowerment, the ways that we got through our own crap. And yeah, just to help lift each other up and nurture one another. And yeah, I think it's kind of the new way of wellness in my mind.
That's awesome. Well, Tammy, what made you decide to start this group?
Very good question. Years ago, I've gone through a couple illnesses and not fun things. And when I was going through these challenges, divorce, breast cancer, poisoning, I didn't know where to look. I didn't really, there's a whole world of information out there, and I wasn't sure which was going to be right for me. I didn't know which was actually accurate. So I just kind of willy-nilly'd all over the place until I found, this coach and that person, and it took me a long time. So having this container allows all these kinds of things to be inside the group, where if somebody's going through some kind of trauma or some sort of disappointment or having a health challenge or going through a divorce or whatever, it's a community where we can come together and give each other the little tidbits that helped us get through. So if I was going through now, this is what I'm trying to build, something that I would have loved to have and utilize.
So what kind of modalities or recommendations you would have for someone today that you wish you had?
Oh, geez. Well, first of all, speak, join people, tell people what's going on with you. I was going through divorce and breast cancer at the same time, and I had lost trust in my world, I guess. Not everybody was abandoning me or anything, but I really felt alone, and I felt I really wasn't sure who I could trust. So I just, started to read some stories and find some. Real Love by Greg Bear was the first thing that I picked up. And it really helped me on the inside of myself to figure out my own, where I was going wrong. And it also helped me see others in a different perspective. So that was perfect. But then other things, right? I heard about yoga and I didn't know about yoga, but who do I go to? So I found, a beginner's thing, which I still do today. It's still the thing that I go to because it's perfect for me. And that's another thing, right? Finding the things that work for us as individuals, because not everything works for everybody. And you might not resonate with a certain person or how they speak or, the language of their message. So I really got into yoga, breath work, meditation, and really doing the healing parts of myself, like really looking at myself and getting into the nitty-gritty and challenging myself to be 100% honest, because nobody else knows what's going on inside of here except me and Gus. So Gus is God, universe, spirit, because we don't, I don't like to label things, so I just go with Gus. Just like having the ideas of what to take and what not to take and what to, who to follow and who not to follow. And when I was going through breast cancer, especially, they made a point of saying, don't go on the internet and read all the things. Don't research for yourself because you're going to make yourself crazy. And I mean, it's a big, like I said, it's a big pool out there, and you're not too sure which side of which end you're jumping in, the deep end or the other end, right? Is it going to be healing waters, or is it going to be something that, goes over your head? And we all need to have some kinds of outlets for ourselves, and our own, like our own recipe that allows us to nourish ourselves and heal from the inside out.
Yeah, I recognize those in real love and yoga and breath work. I've tried many of those myself and know how powerful they are. But the one piece too with your group, and what I'm hearing is having community besides these healing modalities, is having a community of other women who have been where you might be now.
Absolutely. Yes. The community, so that, you get in there and you start to, when we have interviews like this, people can see our personalities. They can see what we have to offer. They can hear in our voices what, how much love is there, or if we're just, making it up as we go along, right? Like the part about being able to connect with people. And even if you don't want to participate in things like interviews or roundtables or any of that kind of stuff, just observing and knowing that people are there, and at any time, in my 100% true heart belief, anybody who is coming to the Women's Wellness Network would be happy to speak with somebody else, like just a direct message or whatever, right? Hey, I saw you on there and I'm having a little bit of a challenge. Do you have any, can you send me somewhere? Do you have a coach? Do you, right? Like really connecting and being, feeling safe about it and feeling supported and secure and okay with speaking your truth.
What came to mind while you were speaking was usually when we're dealing with a professional field, I mean, I definitely support it and it has its place, but sometimes I think it feels impersonal because they're not going through it. And when you have a group of women who have been there and done it and been in the pitfalls and then what they've learned from it, I think that's a lot more helpful to somebody who is talking to somebody who's actually experienced it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, textbook stuff is great. And, we can learn a lot from others, of course. But until you experience it for yourself, it has a whole different, it's like the packaging. You're just seeing the packaging. You're not seeing what's on the inside. You're not getting all the spices, all the things that, an individual who's gone actually through something crappy, that to make it, maybe it's something that's super sour or something that's really bitter, and to help the person sweeten it up a little, like make them feel like it's not that bad. It's not that, um, in the moment when we're going through terrible things, it feels like the worst thing ever. And that nobody else probably could have experienced something as tragic or traumatic as, we're feeling for ourselves. But we always know that there's definitely worse stories than we have. There are amazing stories also of miraculous healings and recoveries and all sorts of things. So those are the things we want to share, right? Like not just the traumatic part, but the uplifting part, and the part that really says, hey, you can do it too. And I might have a little way to show you, or Ginny might have a way to show you, but let's figure out what that is and who that person is, and let's get you on the path.
And what would you say are some of the gifts that came out of this traumatic experience, having cancer and going through divorce at the same time?
Well, it's taught me really about self-love to begin with. I had some body image issues, and the ending of my marriage didn't support that. It made it worse. So then going through cancer and having, going to have my breasts altered, and, my hair was going to fall out, and all these things that were going to make me be who I actually was on the inside, you know, the hair doesn't matter, the breasts don't matter. It's not about all that stuff in the end. Which at the beginning I didn't know. I didn't know a lot of people who had gone through cancer. I knew a lot of people who had gone through divorce, but they all hated each other. And I didn't want to have that in my life. There was enough negativity going on. So I really wanted to make the point of, you know, coming to forgiveness and having an understanding of what happened in my marriage, the actual breakdown of it, you know, my own parts in that, because, you know, every story has two sides, and really owning my stuff because it's mine and I created it and we're creators and we make these things happen. I'm not saying I gave myself breast cancer, but I gave myself the conditions for breast cancer. And I didn't want to have to go through anything like that again. So really doing the work on the inside and making the conditions, the blocks, you know, all the negative stuff that we put on ourselves, working through it and coming to discover every single piece of it has a silver lining. It's not just, you know, like every piece of it there's a lesson in it and a way to heal ourselves by letting go and by releasing the things that, you know, they don't serve us and we don't need to carry with us.
I love that. I love that because we all carry around things that we don't even know what we don't know. We don't realize because it's so familiar to us. So to have an experience, you know, it's unfortunate it is to be so extreme, you know, to find out what's really important and the essence of who you are is what it's about is amazing. It is. I'm so grateful you're here and doing what you're doing and sharing. Is there any final words that you would like to share with the group?
Well, I think if you come over to the Women's Wellness Network, that just being in the proximity of people that are uplifted a little more, who've gone through some challenges, who are, you know, maybe 2 steps ahead of you on the path, you just, the things will just seep in. They'll start to change you in a way that you don't even realize is happening because you're absorbing all the positive things. And it, you know, a little light bulb might go on and say, hey, look, oh, I've been thinking this, or I've been doing this, I have this pattern, or I'm, you know, challenging myself where I shouldn't be. And, you know, the awareness ultimately is the thing. So just having the awareness, coming over, making that that step to join a group, whether it's, you know, a group like yours or mine or whatever, but finding somewhere to connect with people who have a like mind and will help each other grow, because you have things that I don't have, that I don't even know, that I don't know yet. So I want to know those things. So come on over.
Thank you, Tammy. This has been incredible. And if you want to learn more about Tammy and get support in her wellness network group, there'll be a link below this video. And we look forward to seeing you in the future. So thank you so much for being in the Women's Empower Network and sharing your gifts and the miracle that you are.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, Ginny.